champions of the world. In the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Live from the Nottingham Arena, where over 9,000 will be present to witness two of the best 126-pounders in the world do battle for the WBA featherweight world title later on tonight, live on Dazn. Leigh Wood, the surprise package last year, will walk out as champion against one of Ireland's best ever amateurs, Olympic medalist, amateur world champion and undefeated professional MICK CONLAN. 7 fights on the undercard, including 3 right here on Before the Bell. So without further ado, let's hand you over to our MC for the evening and get the fights this evening underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Nottingham, England. We are live on the zone for a big night of World Championship Professional Boxing. We begin tonight with a 6-round affair in the light heavyweight division. And now making his way to the ring, please welcome Big Ben Thomas.
No matter where you look,
It's going to be loud in here later on tonight. There are just a few filtering in from Nottingham City Centre as Big Ben Thomas from Bolton gets into the ring. You may remember him out against Isaac Chamberlain and John Hedges last year. He's been out 6 times since, on the road, busy. He's about 6'4" at light heavyweight and can box as well. Don't be deceived by his record. He's a good test for Thomas Whittaker upon his return.
And now making his way to the ring, please welcome the undefeated Scouser, Thomas Whittaker Hart.
Just been speaking to the manager of Thomas Whittaker Hart, Tony Belly, who of course will be part of our broadcast team a little bit later on, back in action for the first time in over 16 months. He's quite frankly had a horrendous time personally, which we'll talk about in a few moments' time, but just grateful to be back doing what he loves in a boxing ring, because there have been times in the last 12 months where he thought it wasn't going to be possible, but he is back in the ring, 5-0, and he says this year, all being well, he wants to really start to get a move on domestically and make a dent in the light heavyweight division.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to Nottingham, England. We are live on Dazn for a big night of World Championship Professional Boxing. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred and JD Sports. All of tonight's bouts are sanctioned under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control. The steward in charge is Mr. Matt Harris. Introducing your third man in the ring for our first contest from Birmingham, referee Chris Dean. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing scheduled in the light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he wears the solid black trunks. He scaled 12 stone, 8 pounds, 9 ounces. He is a 19-fight veteran fighting out of Bolton. Please welcome Big Ben Thomas. And his opponent across the ring fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the gray with blue and silver trim. He scaled 12 stone, 10 pounds, 2 ounces. His professional record, 5 fights, 5 victories, 2 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Liverpool, introducing the undefeated Thomas Whittaker Hart.
fellas, you both know the rules. Take yourselves at all the time. I say break, you break clean. Touch gloves.
Welcome to all of our regular viewers on Before the Bell. At this point, normally I'd introduce Darren Barker alongside me, but he's being rested for the main card this week, and I'm very pleased to be joined by the new European featherweight champion in what was one of the most miraculous recoveries I think we've seen in the British boxing ring, Jordan Gill. Jordan, welcome. Your commentary debut tonight as well.
It is, and I'm glad to be here, so thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, and congratulations on the win. I think you gave a few people a heart attack, broke a few laptops, and quite a few drinks were spilled in the arena a couple of weeks ago, but you've recovered and you're feeling good.
Feeling good. All's well that ends well.
Absolutely, it did end well in the end. If you haven't watched the fight, I really have to implore you to Green Guerfi and Jordan Gill, who we met a couple of weeks ago. Jordan being alongside me for the next 3 fights on our free broadcast segment, as Tom Whittaker lands a left hook to the body, and Bolton's Ben Thomas already buckled over, and he's really hurt here.
He's not making the count.
It's all over in less than a minute, and he's so frustrated with himself. No sooner have we got the introduction underway, and Tom Whittaker Hart have done the business. So heavy-handed. Tony Belly's spoken about that, and his team in the corner, Joe McNally and Declan O'Rourke, look happy. And well, we haven't even had time to discuss what's happened with Tom Whittaker Hart over the last year. I mean, he had meningitis, had a lump that they thought may have been cancer earlier on, and we noticed a big scar under his arm there. There were times they weren't expecting him to see this through, let alone be back in a boxing ring. And well, what a way to announce your comeback.
The ring rust was a myth. I'd like to see him now get in the mix in the light heavyweight division. You know, he looks a real force, and that 16 months out the ring obviously has made him hungry to get in with the likes of Liam Conroy, Ricky Summers, Jose Burton, and even Dazn.
Yeah, it's a few of the older guard, Joshua Boatsi and Callum Johnson, Anthony Yard just creeping up now towards world title challenges. Of course, Callum Smith moving up from super middleweight as well. I think one of those that you've named is surely going to be a worthwhile opponent on his list. 6-0 he moves to in emphatic fashion, having barely broken a sweat, and it will be a relief for him to have got out of the ring. And Ben Thomas, well, unfortunately for him, he's always been a kind of away corner fighter. He's a good fighter too, but he rarely gets much more than a week or 10 days notice. He always comes in reasonably good shape as well, and he can box, but I think he's kind of assumed the full-time role of journeyman these days, and hit by a peach like that under the arm early, and unfortunately you can still see he's feeling the effects of that.
That was a brutal left hook to the body.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Christine calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 43 seconds of round number 1. Your winner by knockout, he's still undefeated, Thomas Whittaker Hart.
And the former ABA champion moves to 6-0 as a professional light heavyweight now. Tom Whittaker Hart, after a year of absolute hell personally, he's back doing what he loves and back in brilliant fashion as well. And well, Tony Belly, Jordan, he's a good friend of yours. You know how passionate he is, and he'll back all of his fighters to the hilt, and he will be relieved that that's gone well.
Definitely, he lives and breathes it with the fighters, even fighters that he's friends with, not even the ones that he manages. You know, when it's the guys that he's been training with or the guys that he's managing, it's a different story. He's really involved, and you know, he backs us 100%.
Must have had a heart rate monitor attached to him in your fight a couple of weeks ago. I think that would have been something else, but he just talking to the press there. We'll be seeing and hearing from him a little bit later on, and we move already to our second fight of the night between Thomas Carty and Michał Bolos from Poland. Second of our contest of the night here at the Nottingham Arena. All the action starts, remember, 7 o'clock live on Dazn. We'll be seeing the likes of Sandy Ryan in her first 10-rounder against Erica Farias, former 2-weight world champion. Kevin Adjako will return to action as well after a really good win over Nori Larios. He's in an explosive contest a little bit later on. That will be one before the main event. Terry Harper returns as a lightweight as well. She looked super strong on the scales yesterday. And Jordan, you were at the weigh-in for Conlan and Wood. What an atmosphere it was, and if that's anything to go by, this place is going to be rocking a little bit later on.
It was absolutely packed, and everybody was making noise. Everybody seemed in good spirits, back in, you know, their fighter. There was a lot of Irish there. There was a lot of noise from the Nottingham fans. You know, I know Nottingham have been at home today, Nottingham Forest, and they're going to be tanked up and ready for action this afternoon.
They are. Behave yourselves if you are in the arena later on. Nice and loud, but no fisticuffs, please. We've got professionals in the ring for that, guys. And there is the Nottingham arena where it will all take place. The last time we had championship boxing, it was Carl Froch in a make or break year for him in 2012, and he cleaned out Yusuf Mack and Lucien Butte. This is what's to come, though, later on tonight. As I mentioned, Sandy Ryan in her first 10 round against Erica Farias. Gary Cully, and in a really interesting fight against Miguel Vasquez, former world champion himself at lightweight, but a little bit longer in the tooth now, Vasquez, but still got plenty to offer in terms of experience. He could be a handful for the Irish lightweight champion Gary Cully. And then Terry Harper looking to get in the mix and become, later on in her career, a two-weight world champion, this time at lightweight. She's up against Yamila at Belenada a little bit later on over 10 rounds. And then, of course, Keelan Biarco faces Guadalajara's one Carlos Rubio, aggressive Mexican southpaw, defeated by Charles Conwell last time out. Very good American fighter. So it'll be interesting to see a comparison of how Biarco gets on there. Conwell stopped him in 3. And that will set the table very nicely for our main event, as if I needed to remind you. 12 rounds for the WBA World Featherweight title. Leigh Wood, a very good friend of yours, Jordan, leapt from British champion to world champion in, well, 2 fights last year. An amazing fight camp against you, Cam. The performance of his career so far, and I know you were so pleased to see him do well.
Yeah, definitely. I remember speaking to you guys before the bell, before that fight, and I feel like everybody wrote Leigh Wood's chances of winning on points, and I know he knocked him out in the end, but he was on his way to win on points, and I feel like everybody writes off his boxing ability, and they seem to have tonight. It seems to be the case where everybody's picking either Conlan on points or Wood by KO, and you know, it might be the case, but we will see. I feel like Wood can win this fight on points as well. It's all about tactics.
Certainly is all about tactics. It's going to be all about heart and desire at times here as well. What an atmosphere we will have for you later on here at the Nottingham Arena. WBA World Featherweight title on the line as Leigh Wood and Mick Conlan clash in Nottingham.
What I believe that puts the faith in the Irishman is the heart. We have bigger hearts than any man in the world.
We have that, it's something different. It's just, we have more heart, more grit. It's installed from us from a young age, and I just feel like we have that fighting Irish in us.
I suppose there's deep history there, you know. Through the years, we haven't had it easy as a country, so I suppose historically we'd be a tough nation.
I think it's the history of Ireland to just stick together and fight together.
We are fighting Irish, but we're more lovers than fighters. We love to love, but we can fight, and it's genetically built into us.
A nation born of fighting. We have big hearts. When we say something, we stand by it and won't be denied.
You know, anywhere you go in the world, you'll always meet an Irishman. We've kind of a deep heritage of emigrating from back in the day. So no matter where you go around the world, you'll always meet an Irishman.
And they'll always come and support a fellow Irishman.
We support our own, and we're always down for a bit of crack. It's just something in us that is different from the rest.
We stick together and we're like a team wherever we go.
We're just a passionate people, a small nation, a fighting nation.
I think it means a lot then to the Irish people, you know, that we band together. It's quite a small country. There's Irish people everywhere, all over the world.
It's somewhere that doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and when someone tries to make it out, everyone supports each other and gets behind them.
You know, even growing up as a kid myself, from the time I can remember, we were brought to the boxing gym. It's my first memory of any kind of sport was boxing, and the same goes for everybody that lived in my neighbourhood. It's like speaking, it's like walking. It's, you know, it's inbuilt.
Boxing is one of our best sports. I think it's our best Olympic sport. We've brought home the most amount of medals in that sport in particular.
I take so much pride in my country. Representing my country as a boxer, as an amateur, was always, you know, the pinnacle. I believed as boxing as a kid, getting to the Olympic Games was always my dream, which my brother Ian achieved. Seeing him represent Ireland at the Olympic Games still to this day is the proudest moment in my life. It was everything. It was Ireland. He was, you know, Ireland at that moment of time.
When I do fight, I feel like I have a country behind me, a country on my shoulders. And one I'm happy to lift up, but one is happy to lift me up as well.
It definitely makes you feel more at home and more secure when you're fighting in front of the Irish fans. We can create an atmosphere that's like nowhere else in the world.
I'm expecting a crazy atmosphere, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
We've got lads on it from Dublin and Belfast, and we all come together, so it's going to be a very noisy night.
The Irish are a small nation, but we come in our droves. And we will be outnumbered on Saturday, but everyone who's coming is coming with a purpose.
When we get people to the top of their field, we like to support them and show them how proud we are. And that's why we're just a proud nation.
I was in the Olympic Games at the final of 2012 when Carty boxed and broke the decibel record at the Olympic Games. I'm expecting exactly the same this Saturday. I'd say when the rounds get tough and you hear the support behind you, it's a great lift for the lads.
With my fellow Irish fighters in the card, it makes me tremendously proud to be main eventing a card like this.
It's good to see our transition from the amateurs to the pros fighting on the same card, on a massive card as well. MICK CONLAN fighting for a world title, me defending my WBA international, so it means a lot to me.
I've created great friendships with the lads throughout the years, and then it fills me with pride to see the lads sharing the card with me, and I've stuck out and followed their dreams as well.
Now as professional boxing on the undercard of these boys, you know, much further on in their career than I am, it fills me with pride, and it's quite a big achievement for me, you know.
No, I'm delighted. I'm really proud to be a part of that, and I'm really happy for the guys on the undercard because they're going to get the experience, an atmosphere they had never experienced before.
You know, for a result of a win for Michael Conlan tonight would be amazing.
Michael Conlan's an icon in Ireland at the moment, and winning this world title is just gonna explode over there.
I'm fighting for a world title, but it's not the pinnacle of the sport for me. This is the start of my journey to become the best featherweight in the world.
Ultimate ambition is to win a world title.
To go down as one of the greatest fighters in Irish history.
First Black Irish world champion. That will happen without doubt.
This Saturday in particular is going to be special, I think, for me.
It's Ireland versus the rest of the world on Saturday night.
On Saturday night, it'll be the best feeling in the world once I hear I'm the new. I'll have my father in the ring celebrating alongside me as he's been there all the way as well. And I've dreamed about it, I've felt it already. I do this for my country, I do this for my people, and I do this for my family. And most importantly, I do this for me.
Well, for those of you that have been fortunate enough to visit some of the classic Irish boxing venues, whether it's Ulster Hall, Falls Park, Windsor Park, will know exactly what the Irish fans are like and just what this sport means to them. Lucky enough to spend a bit of time with Carl Frampton over the years, as some of you will know, and of course his retirement last year has left a bit of a gap, Jordan, for I guess somebody to step in and fill the mantle and become the next Irish boxing star. MICK CONLAN seems to have a lot of the ingredients required, doesn't he? And if he wins tonight, that will really propel him to a different level.
Yeah, definitely. The Irish are crying out for the next boxing superstar. I feel like when you go to Ireland, I've been to Belfast, there's a boxing gym, amateur boxing club on every single corner. It's one of their biggest sports over there, and they love Irish boxing. They love to see an Irish boxing world champion, and I feel like, you know, if Conlan wins tonight, he will be a superstar.
Plenty of others that have got ambitions, as you heard there, including some of the others on the bill. Gary Cully tonight, Kevin Ajarko and Big Thomas Carty, who will be sitting up next on before the bell. But the man that you know well, Jordan, and I know the man that you'll be backing tonight is Leigh Wood. For those people that don't know, just talk to me about your relationship with him. How far back do you go, and just give us a little idea of what the journey's been like for you two so far.
Yeah, it's been tough for us both. I feel like I've known Leigh my whole life. I think I first saw Leigh when he was about 22. I was around 15, 16 years old. We met in the Ingle gym. We both come through that system together. He was just off GB, and I remember staying with him the first week that he turned pro with his pro debut looming, and you know, we were staying in a little bed sit. We woke up, we both had damp on our back because, you know, the conditions were that bad, but you know, he's gone on, he come up the hard way, boxing on small hall. He's taken his opportunities and he's performed. You saw that in the Kanzu fight, and you know, I feel like that was just a start for him.
I feel as though the work that he's done with Ben Davison, it seems almost transformative in he's always had power, he could always fight, but they seem to have tactically just taken him to a different place. He seems to know not just what to do, but when to do it in key fights, and his discipline seems to have gone to a different place. Is he an altogether different fighter in the last 18 months to the one that you've known all the years?
I feel like he is. You know, he's always been technically good. He's always had that power. He's always been, you know, athletically gifted. But what Ben's added is, you know, when to do these things. He's always had that boxing ability, but he's never had quality coaching. You know, it's always been the case of just get fit and go in and do what you do. And Ben has, you know, got the tactics spot on for every fight. He's got him to do the right things at the right time. And I feel like, you know, with someone who's got such athletic ability like Leigh, such natural power, I feel like if you get the right coach who can bring it out of him, it's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's going to need them in his corner potentially tonight. Could be a highly tactical affair. The last time we saw championship level boxing here was 10 years ago, 2012, when Carl Froch had a make or break 12 months at the age of 34, coming off the back of the Andre Ward defeat in the Super 6. He had to beat those guys to get back in the world level mix. He blew away both Lucian Butte and Yusuf Mack towards the end of the year in front of a packed sellout arena here. He knows about the pressures that Leigh will be under at the age of 33 tonight, and the pair of them caught up earlier on this week. Let's have a listen.
Boxing was always my passion. From I think 10, 11 years old, that's all I ever wanted to do. Didn't really have a plan B, didn't want a plan B, then I switched to sport, and then the rest is history. I think I was just chasing excitement, adrenaline and that kind of stuff, until obviously I started boxing, and it kind of channeled it in the right direction, luckily. Everything was about boxing. Well, anything I was doing, I was thinking about boxing. Walking home from school, I was thinking about boxing. I just became obsessed. I just put over to show you my sponsors. These are my longest serving sponsors since I turned pro, so they've been with me the whole time. Ups and downs, inactivity, defeats, injuries. I think my nose looks big on that. I was on Team GB for about 9 or 10 months with the podium squad, which was a great experience at the time. I didn't get sent to the Europeans, and I think just the time felt right. I just felt like it's time to turn pro. It's been hard, it has been hard, but I won't change it. I've done it from the ground up, so I've boxed for free. I've been in the gym training all year round, not knowing if I'm going to be fighting soon. I was in the gym a whole year once with not even getting a fight date come through or fights falling through, and week in, week out I kept rocking up, training twice every day, no money in the bank, still there. I've always just like wanted to prove people wrong. So when it comes to quitting, I ain't got to quit in me. At the forest ground. You alright, yeah?
I'm alright, mate, yeah, good.
Yeah, sweet, yeah.
Look at the size of it. Imagine fighting here.
It's going to happen.
No, I boxed at Wembley, but this venue, with it being Nottingham and being home.
I boxed on Cole's undercard against Mack, come out quite late, packed arena. So I've experienced a taste of it, but this is going to be different now. I'm defending my world title, top of the bill. It's going to pick me up, 100% it's going to pick me up. To see someone from my amateur gym, from my school, from my local area, go on and do what he did, it gives me a path to look, if he can do it, because he's come from where I've come from, why can't I do it? I climbed the ladder the hardest way, and I'm not prepared to take a climb back up from the bottom.
And you're at an age like I was, where the time to rebuild, you ain't got it. You don't want to be rebuilding back into title contention. You've got the belt now. Every fight's a must-win, really. Lee.
Thanks for coming down, mate.
No, pleasure.
Yeah,
Listen,
I'll see you
fight week.
Fight week, yeah.
And fight night will be on it.
Presser, weighing and that. Get some lads down, yeah? I visualised as a kid, you know, I'm going to do this myself one day. I was here in the crowds for Carl, all them fights. I'm where I wanted to be since I was 10 years old. I'm defending my world title at the arena. I'm going to enjoy fight week, I'm going to enjoy the build-up, I'm going to enjoy the press conference and the weigh-in. And then I'm going to go out there on fight night, get the job done, and enjoy myself.
Jordan, he seems relaxed. He's been a lot less vocal than Michael Conlan and certainly Jamie Conlan in the build-up to this. Is there inevitably going to be nerves? You know him and you're closer to him than the most of us. How has he been in the build-up to this?
Do you know what? He's been surprisingly relaxed, and it's nice to see because there's a lot of pressure on him. I feel like everybody said that the pressure is on Leigh, but I feel like Conlan's got a lot of pressure on him as well. but he's been relaxed. I saw him at breakfast this morning. He's filled out massively. I saw him last night as well, and yeah, he's looking forward to go. He's going to put everything into it, and he's going to really enjoy himself tonight.
Will he defend his title, move on to even bigger fights, potentially at his home football ground, or will the luck of the Irish be in? There are 4 of them on the bill tonight, first of whom is about to ring walk Big Thomas Carty in against Michał Bolos from Poland. Let's get the fighters into the ring. Back over to our MC, David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Nottingham, England, live on Dazn, we're set to go with our next contest. 6 rounds in the heavyweight division. Please welcome, as he makes his way to the ring from Poland, Michał Bolos.
Well, to say his home nation has seen better political days is an understatement. They have been the recipient of hundreds of thousands of refugees fleeing over the border from their neighbours, Ukraine, in the last 10 days. It is a very different environment over there at the moment, but he's got business to take care of himself here, Michał Bolos. He's the 3rd opponent for Big Thomas Carty. He's 33 years of age, 5 years as a professional, 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 defeats from his 7 so far.
And now set to make his ring walk from Dublin, Ireland, the undefeated bomber, Thomas Carty.
A few hundred in here already, and they're in full voice for the big Dubliner, Thomas Carty. He's been around the circuit sparring with some of the best heavyweights in the country. Anthony Joshua, and over in Portugal with Dillian White, who has become his manager in recent times as well, under the guidance of Xavier Miller and Harold Knight. A decade-long amateur career, boxed all over Europe, South Africa as well. Had a mixed record as an amateur, 27 wins, 23 defeats, but he was always consistent at national level as a junior and a senior as well. Always a name on the card, making national finals for about 5 or 6 consecutive years, and he's made a good start as a professional as well, looking to go 3-0 here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Nottingham, England, live on Dazn, we are set to go with a special heavyweight attraction. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred and JD Sports. Introducing your 3rd man in the ring at the sound of the bell, referee Kevin Parker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing scheduled in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red with black trim. He scaled 16 stone, 8 pounds, 4 ounces. His professional record, 2 victories, 3 defeats, 2 draws, both of his wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Novi Sad, Poland, introducing Michał Bolos. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the white with green and gold trim. This powerful southpaw scaled at already 17 stone, 5 pounds, 4 ounces. His young professional record, thus far perfect. 2 fights, 2 victories, one of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, introducing the undefeated bomber, Thomas Carty.
Judges, you both know the rules. That's not a clean contest. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, 6 rounds. Thank you. So the third contest as a professional for Dublin's Thomas Carty. He weighed in 243 and a quarter pound yesterday. Look how Lavazz, around 6'5", 232 pounds, looks in really good shape.
I noticed them both on the scales yesterday, and they've actually got a very similar body shape. They're not the giant heavyweights, but they look very compact, and they both look like good punchers.
Yeah, very broad though, Thomas Carty, although put into start perspective, seeing him next to Eddie Hall after a sparring session, the former world record deadlift holder and world's strongest man, and well, he looks almost like a schoolboy in there, but he's thick set, solid, nice technically. He's got a good southpaw jab, good balance with it too, and good experience in his corner with Packy Collins.
Packy Collins got a wealth of experience, and you can see that tonight he's taken his time. That jab's popping out nice. It's a very sharp southpaw lead jab.
Just poking it through the guard. Lavazz just trying to pull out of range. And he's brought in as part of Anthony Joshua's camp in preparation for Alexander Usyk. Just came in off a couple of feints and then put the left hand down the middle.
It's a beautiful jab when he's poking it out. I like to see a little bit more non-punching activity when he's feinting. It's really opening up for him.
Landed the jab. Nice and sharp early. Lavazz just trying to inch his front foot into range and still yet to land. Thomas Carty just getting a cheer that you may be picking up from the few hundred that are already in attendance at this early part of the night. I just wonder how much the crowd will influence proceedings in the main event a little bit later. It will be so partisan in here, and we know that both sides will be having their work cheered to the top of the rafters. As Carty again just feinting with the feet, just trying to draw a lead from Lavazz. Hasn't taken the bait so far. The big Polish fighter in the red trunks.
He's being very patient, but he's just got caught with a big left hand and a nice sharp jab as well.
Yeah, and Lavazz shaking his head, but unfortunately he's just not getting off the line, staying straight up, and the guard isn't tight enough, and well, there's just no real effort to drop off to either side and try and get in behind and past that long jab of Carty, which has worked nicely, sharply and patiently in this first 2.5 minutes. Lavazz just telegraphs the right hand. Carty just dips under. Blood from the nose of the Polish fighter just starting to drip down onto his midsection as they come together towards the end of the first round. That very controlled and composed opener here from Thomas Carty, Jordan.
Very good work.
Yeah, just staying a little bit upright and not really quick enough on the feet to get into range, and head staying on the line as well, kind of asking really to be hit with a jab at this stage of the contest.
Definitely, it's one thing being patient, but it's another thing, you know, just waiting to get hit. I feel like if he's going to affect in the fight, he needs to force the pace, and you know, he's not got the boxing ability of Carty, and he needs to get into him.
Always nice as well when you do find a home with that jab early.
Definitely, it's pinpoint precision. It's very, very sharp. It's nice to see such a big guy with such a sharp jab.
Second judge, round 2.
And we saw on his debut was consistent, good variation on the jab. I saw a similar thing in those first 3 minutes, and in the debut kind of progressed through to the combinations as the fight went on, sped his feet up, so he's kind of already got that instinctive learning how to go through the gears, and expect to see that here. And certainly already Lavazz has decided to quicken his feet up and try and put some pressure, and asking now for Thomas Carty to meet him at centre ring. So already things just changing. Lavazz making the adjustments, and Carty now having to find space for himself.
Lavazz come out with a little bit more sense of urgency this round, but it's nice to see Carty's just skipping around the side of him. skipping to the left, skipping to the right. His feet look really, really good.
He's inspiring Nathan Gorman, who's back in action in early April as well as Richard Biratpour up at Loughborough, where Anthony Joshua will now be based full-time with coach Angel Fernandez. From speaking to Fabio Wardley, he didn't have a great deal of amateur background himself, but he's already looking very good as a pro, that getting in those camps with the likes of Dillian White, Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, of course, out in the Ukraine, has really helped him to progress over the last 2 or 3 years. So it's been invaluable experience that's transferred well into the ring, and already we're seeing, same with Thomas Carty, good fundamentals, solid jab, and he's reddening up the face of Mikhail Bolos, who's just chasing him around the ring, not cutting the space off as he needs to at this stage.
He's really starting to bust his face up now, and it's a very, very classy performance so far.
Scheduled for 6 rounds, this one, remember. Second contest on before the bell. Just saw Thomas Whittaker back in action. He took out Bolton's Big Ben Thomas inside the first minute with that hook under the elbow. After a dreadful 12 months, he is back doing what he loves and looked great doing it too. So welcome back to the light heavyweight division. Thomas Whittaker will have debutant Nico Lavazz up next, and that will take us through to the start of the broadcast at 7 o'clock local time here in the city of Nottingham. Sandy Ryan will be out in her professional contest against former 2-weight world champion Erica Farias. Over 10 rounds, lovely rear hand uppercut lands from Thomas Carty there. Mikhail Bolos has to hold on. Kevin Agyarko will be in, as well as Irish Patrick Gary Cully. And again, Thomas Carty just fizzes that uppercut in as Bolos tries to cut him down. And really tried to press the action, but in doing so, Jordan's walked onto a fair bit more leather in that second round.
Definitely, he made himself open. He gave the openings to Thomas Carty, and Thomas Carty took him. But, you know, he didn't rush, and that was nice to see. It showed his pedigree there.
Just caught him there outside with just a cuffing jab as Carty was exiting to his right-hand side. And he had to try and force the action there, but again, just the meaningful work. Solid jab there from Thomas Carty. He's broad, thick set, solid.
Really extends that right hand, doesn't he? Gets full range on that jab.
As you can see, is a man that stays in really good shape. Coming at the weigh-in, he's a trim, 230 pounds, in good condition. You don't expect him to go quietly, but he's convincingly down after these first 2 rounds, and the difference between them so far has just been the distance control and the jab of Thomas Carty. And Bolos pressure him and make him work when he doesn't want to.
He's come out very aggressive again. The referee's having to have a little word with him again.
As long as he doesn't get DDT'd, I think we can set that as the new benchmark for acceptable infringements.
I've never seen it before, and I'm not sure we'll ever see it again.
I'm not sure you saw it on the night, to be honest. I'm just glad you sat up.
I've seen the replays, that's enough for me. He's coming in very low with his head. It's causing Thomas Carty a few problems there.
And that was something as well. You had a couple of weeks ago, the head clash led to the hematoma, stiff jab from Carty there. The DDT, the knee that went, the eardrums, and it was like the old game operation. Work out what's wrong with the opponent.
It's all go for me, mate. It's all go.
And you've got to find a way to win in that situation, which you did. And well, Bolos trying to make it rough here himself, but Carty finding space, picking sharp singles, which the judges will be no doubt seeing, but it is getting a little bit messy in there. Bolos is trying to spoil and rush in, as you say, with the head, the arms, and he is getting the talking to. just maybe a little out of his depth there, Jordan, and trying to spoil as a result.
Definitely. I feel like he's just trying to disrupt Thomas Carty at any opportunity he can get, and sometimes he's doing that by coming in low with his head.
Just landed a short right hand off the rope set and came together. Carty just lost his footing. The more he rushes, Carty will just try and step out onto that hook, so we've seen him working on the pads, but just pull it out a little bit high there, and again Boller's rushing him, landing a couple.
And he's constantly looking for that rear uppercut, and by doing so he's leaving himself a little bit upright, and I feel like Bollers has seen that, and he's looking for that big overhand right.
And it started nice, clean and clinical, and it's unfortunately descended into the complete opposite with less than a minute to go around number 3. There's that jab from Carty, and they'll be imploring him to get back on that. Just steps out on the hook, looks for that uppercut again, slings that left hook in, just trying to bring Bollers onto something, but the Polish fighter lands another stiff jab, and he's pushed Carty back onto the ropes there.
Turning into an exciting fight.
He's starting to look a little more dangerous than he was, and Carty maybe just looking a little bit open here. You served a long apprenticeship, kind of away from the spotlight. Remember some of the nights at the Glow Arena as well, but you've got to get in with all different styles of opponents. Sometimes you need a rough, awkward opponent to realise what it is you need to do in these eventualities. It's not pleasant at the time, but actually necessary.
Yeah, definitely. You need to come across all different styles, and this is a style that maybe Carty doesn't not experience tonight. You know, Dillian Whyte has managed Thomas Carty very well. This is a great learning fight for him, and the fighters managed by Dillian Whyte seems to be moved quite quickly into championship fights. So, you know, it's looking like we'll see him in title contention very soon. It's very important to soak up these rounds, get all that experience from all these different styles of opponents, win the fights, soak up the experience, and put it to good use in the title fights.
Make out the figure of Dalton Smith, a bit blurry in the background there, just sitting a few rows back. He'll be supporting Nico Lavazz, his stablemate, making his debut up next.
Second judge, round 4.
He's brought in from a young age to spar with Sonny Edwards, been in with Cal Yafai as well, a two-time ABA champion, so looking forward to seeing him out at bantamweight after this contest. And Thomas Carty just navigating his way through. He's won all 3 rounds, but it's just got a little bit messy, and trying to find that space, bring Mikhail Bollers onto shots, and that's better. Just skips away around, back to centre ring, thumps the uppercut through the middle to the body. Bollers hangs on. Staying low with that one, knew that Bollers was going to drop over that front foot and dip into it, because that's what he's been doing. Nice adjustment there for Thomas Carty, and the Polish fighter shook his head, but that usually means that something got through. Now he's trying to bull rush him, but rather than cut the ring off, he's following him, diving in with that head.
He's really getting bust up now. Blood coming from the nose, spread across the face.
Yeah, swelling under the left eye of Bollers as well, evidence of that consistent thudding jab from Thomas Carty. Hasn't had quite as much success with the backhand upstairs, but has started to kind of shovel it in low. But again, it's Bollers just dipping down, leading with the head. Thankfully, in many ways, Carty's a slightly shorter fighter, because when you've got somebody shorter than you just dipping in low like that, that's when cuts can occur. But thankfully, so far, that hasn't happened. But well, just got a kind of really close-up view just over our commentary position as Bollers hung over the ropes there of the damage that is starting to be done on his face, and he's really reddened and swollen up there. Carty just trying to find a little bit of space around the perimeter.
Uses his feet really well this round, skipping around, popping that jab, looking for the uppercut, but you know he's aiming a bit lower with that uppercut, and I feel like he's leaving himself not as exposed. Standing well to the body, to the chest, and it's having an effect.
He's coming a little lighter and leaner in this camp, he said. He did look in good condition yesterday, Carty, and was helping him just try and find a little bit of space here. Bollers just piles forward again. Right eye swelling up, blood pouring from the nose and the mouth now, but still just marches forwards. Carty again just looks for that 1-2 to skin the left hand on the top and the back of the head of Lavazz as again just dipped down. He's doing the right thing, looking for that uppercut because Lavazz is staying on the line and just dropping over that front foot, but he put the left hook on the back of it that time.
Beautiful punch pick from Carty.
Lavazz holding the shots well though. 10 seconds as we count down towards the end of the round. Stiff jab to the body too. End proceedings in the fourth, and Carty goes back to his corner with Paddy Collins.
The man from Poland is game. He's not stopped coming forward despite, you know, the red on the face, the swelling. He's looking bust up, the eyes, you know, not too far away from being closed.
Yeah, rugged, raw but strong. And when he has landed, he's got Carty's attention. He can pop a little bit. So that stiff jab has just been the thing that's given Carty the respite and the space to work. And it's real, almost like a right hand in some ways. Although he hasn't been able to land the right hand, land the backhand cleanly. That jab has acted as a real rangefinder for him. There was a good left hand. He looks pretty calm as well, Carty, given that he's been, I suppose, under quite consistent pressure.
Yeah, definitely. He's looking pretty fresh.
Just joining us, you are watching Before the Bell. Chris Lloyd alongside me, the European featherweight champion, the new European featherweight champion, Jordan Gill. In for Darren Barker, who'll be part of the broadcast team a little bit later on, alongside myself, and then later on Mike Costello. We'll have Carl Froch with us in the studio with Tony Bellew. Reliving those big nights in this very arena 10 years ago. It's Jordan's friend and Carl Froch's too. Leigh defends his regular version of that WBA world title at 126 pounds against one of the best amateurs in Ireland's history, and Michael Conlan, Olympic bronze medalist from London, robbed of a medal in Rio. That was really what he became known for across Europe. That two-finger salute to the judges that launched the investigation with Aiba. Of course, a world champion as an amateur as well, Conlan. So credentialed up to the eyeballs and hasn't really put too much of a foot wrong as a pro. It's a great fight here in Nottingham, and Thomas Carty will be back in the Irishman too, and he's starting to have more success against Michał Bolos. Presses him into the corner, landed a stiff 1-2 in the face of the Polish fighter, really swelling up.
I think they're going to have a look at him there. Might be game over.
He's on a hiding to nothing really at this stage.
So I think he's not wanting any of the rounds. He's getting bust up, backed up now as well. Triple backhands on the ropes he's taking. That eyes close to being closed.
Marches to the centre of the ring, but he's quite square on Bolos. And Carty finds something to hurt him and get a Grand Slam finish, or will they have to step in and stop this? Stiff jab again from the Irishman. Bolos, crude, raw, but tough. Trying to press the action. Just throwing to hit whatever he can up close. Just drops under that right hand, Carty. Back to centre ring. Holding it with authority now.
Very well poised. Nothing's a rush for him. You know, when he's skipping around, he does it in his own time. And when he's closing the distance down, he does it in his own time. You know, it's nice to see.
They tighten the ropes up. So that's a lot of weight. And the cameraman nearly got sent flying there, but he's held on. And now Bolos holds on at centre ring. 48 seconds to go in the penultimate round here. At some point, that left eye is going to be completely closed. It's not far off it now, and that vision will be impeded. I think they're right to get the doctor to have a second look at it.
He's a very tough man, but he could be too tough for his own good. I think someone needs to step in here.
I think that's the right decision, because you can argue if the stakes were higher, if you had something to gain, as you did a couple of weeks ago, Jordan, you give a fighter every chance when you know there's a big upside, but really there wasn't much he stood to gain from going another 3 and a bit minutes against Thomas Carty, and respect to him for making a fight of it and sticking in there, but he's lost every round. He's busted up to, well, quite literally to his eyeballs, and that was the right decision to stop the fight then.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like you said, he wasn't winning any rounds, he wasn't really in the fight. He was just waiting for a beating.
And Thomas Carty, he's really happy with that, and well, he started nice and comfortably behind the jab. Bolos was unable to get past it, and then the Polish fighter just quickened his feet up in the second and third, and well, he tried to put some pressure on Carty, but in the process he ended up walking onto shots and getting busted up, and he made it messy, made it rough, and he gave Carty a couple of problems to have to solve and work through, but he made the adjustments, the Irishman, and he's absolutely over the moon here, because he knows that the hard work for him is done, and he can enjoy the action with a few thousand of the Irish fans, and of course his cohort that will be fighting, including Gary Cully, Kevin Ijarko, and of course Michael Conlan in our main event live on Dazn a little bit later on. And there is Mikhail Bolos. It's amazing when you see a fighter protest, Jordan, because you always look at them and think you've got to be thinking of this being over now. But I guess as a fighter, as you know, even against all the odds, you aren't looking for ways out, you're looking for ways to win.
No, that's it. You never give up hope, and it's different when you're in there. You always feel like you've got a chance, that even when you haven't won a round like Bolos, but you know, Carty was the man tonight, and he done the business. I don't think he'll have a problem getting a Guinness tonight. I think there's a few hundred people that will buy him a Guinness tonight.
I think you're absolutely right. Well, David Diamante standing by with the official result as the fighters embrace the centre ring. So let's head over to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's clap our hands for both of these fighters, please. Referee Kevin Parker calls a halt to the contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes, 27 seconds of round number 5. Your winner by TKO. He's still undefeated from Dublin, Ireland, the bowler, Thomas Carty.
A really good victory for Thomas Carty. He moves to 3-0 as a professional. Mikhail Bolos has done himself credit in that contest. He did what he could, but ultimately was outgunned and outboxed at times in there, and well, the damage that was being done, busted up, they were right to call a halt to the action when they did so. But that stiff jab early, Jordan, was the difference between them, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It put Bolos in his place and kept him there. You know, he kept him under measure the whole fight. You know, he charged forward and tried a little bit harder, but you know, it was just to no avail and to more punishment.
This was when the eye really started to swell. I could see the damage there, and well, as he was dipping in over that front foot, Carty was trying to sling that uppercut almost at chest height, and then he started to wing the hooks around the side of it. Was catching Bolos on the way in, and well, gave him the benefit of the doubt a couple of times, bringing the doctor up, but on the second look, you can see there really that's closed, isn't it? And if you can't see out of one eye, you've really got to call it a day. And Thomas Carty, well, he had a tough man in front of him. He worked his way through the problems in front of him, and well, you can see what that means to him. He's so pleased to be underway as a professional these last 6 to 8 months, and he wants to push on towards big fights this year. So 3 fights down, big wins for Thomas Whittaker and big Thomas Carty via stoppage. That is the main card, starting at 7 o'clock on Dazn. Around 40 minutes from now, Sandy Ryan in her first 10-rounder against former world champion Erica Farias. Then Gary Cully in against former world champion himself, looking to go from contender to, or prospect rather, to contender, but he needs to look good against Miguel Vasquez, and that is no easy task, as we well know. Then WBA ranking place on the line for Terry Harper as she returns at lightweight, having lost her titles at super feather to Alicia Baumgartner last year, up against Yamila Abelaneda. And then Kevin Ijarko and Juan Carlos Rubio from Guadalajara will do battle in our chief support. That will be fireworks, and that will really get the crowd going, as if they needed any excuse ahead of our main event here in Nottingham, live on Dazn around the world. A little bit later on tonight, as Leigh Wood defends the regular version of the WBA world title against Michael Conlan. So Terry Harper, as I mentioned, returns at lightweight later on tonight, having lost her world titles last year. She's looking forward to getting back to doing what she does best.
There's questions and there's doubts that pop up time to time, but it was just one bad night in the office.
Harper, she walks onto her right hand and she stands virtually stock still in the centre of the ring, and referee decides that Terry Harper has to be saved from further punishment.
If I'm honest, I didn't even know I got knocked out like I did until the Sunday. And the only thing I can remember is the ref waving his hands in front of me.
Stop messing about now, she's going home. It was a big shock. It wasn't supposed to happen, but these things do happen in boxing. But one of the things that sticks out, and it's quite funny, Terry with tears coming down lift next morning, and she says to me, "What's going to happen now? Do I get sacked?" I just couldn't, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry at her.
A mixture of emotions, really. Obviously, straight after the fight, I went through a good few days where I'm feeling sorry for myself. The biggest thing for me was just embarrassment. Like I didn't want to go out and show my face. Though at one point when I had to do big food shopping, I made sure we drove away from the village. You just think everyone's judging you, and I saw an old lady and I thought, oh my God, she probably knows I got knocked out. It's just silly stuff like that, but it is what it is, and it's boxing. Life goes on.
The week after the fight, we went for a long walk every day. I started chipping away at Terry regarding going up a weight. And at first, she was adamant she wanted this rematch, as fighters do. Spoke to Eddie about it, and he fully backed the decision. And then when she realised that Eddie was backing the decision, she was fine then and realised, oh, I can eat now.
All my knockouts in my boxing career have mainly been when I've been up at the heavier weights, and I just know it suits me more, and I'll be a lot stronger. I see this as a fresh start, but I want to build up them rankings in lightweight division and have the big fights and fight the top girls in this division. So, but I want to do that at a steady pace, and this year's going to be a great year of learning and just getting some experience under the belt. If I don't win this fight, then what? Like, this is a fight that I should be winning. I need to be winning. There's no other option than to win for me for this fight.
Terry Harper looking to start her journey towards becoming a two-weight world champion, this time at 135 pounds. The journey begins against Argentina's Yamila Abelaneda later on tonight, live on Dazn. The third contest of Before the Bell about to get underway. Let's head back over to David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're set to go to the next contest. 4 rounds in the bantamweight division. Set to make his ring walk, de Managua, Nicaragua, José El Pequeño Hernández.
José Hernández from Nicaragua, based in Catalonia in Spain. He's been over for a number of prospects in Britain over the last few years, guys like Shabazz Massoud, Lucas Ballingow, Isaac Lowe, and Chris Bourke as well. He's lost plenty, but only Cash Farouk has stopped him in the last 8 years. He switch hits, he's quite slick, shoots the jab from the hip. Been a little undersized in contests so far, but he's boxing much closer to his natural weight here, and should be a good debut opponent for an amateur of Nico Lavazz calibre.
And now set to make his very first ring walk as a professional from Mansfield, the standout amateur, Nico Lavazz.
Well, Grant Smith is, without doubt, one of the best trainers in the UK, and he's not a man that can afford to waste his time on fighters who he doesn't believe have got the talent to go a long way. And he didn't hesitate when Nico Lavazz's dad asked him to take over as his coach and guide him on his professional journey. He's been bringing him in over the last few years to spar with Sonny Edwards. He's boxed rounds with Cal Yapai as well. A 2-time ABA champion, had a great win over Shino De Freitas in 2017. We saw how good he was just a few weeks ago, and as he just walks those steps, goes through the ropes as a first-time young professional, he'll be drinking all of this in, Jordan, and what a night, what a place to make your debut.
Definitely, it's a great show for it. You only get one debut, and I'm sure he's going to soak all this up and use it towards his next upcoming fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Nottingham, England, live on Dazn, we are set to go with a special bantamweight attraction. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred and JD Sports. Introducing your third man in the ring at the sound of the bell from Birmingham, referee Chris Dean. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, right out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the blue trim. He scaled 8 stone 9 pounds 4 ounces. This 43-fight veteran hails from La Concepcion, Managua, Nicaragua, Jose El Pequeño Hernandez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the yellow trunks with the blue trim. He scaled at a ready 8 stone 8 pounds 1 ounce. Tonight, he makes his much anticipated professional debut, fighting out of Mansfield. Here is the standout amateur, the 2-time GB Championship gold medalist, the 2-time National Elite Champion, the Haringey Cup gold medalist, and the 2-time Iron Monkstown gold medalist, Nico Lightning Lavazz.
Okay, fellas, you both know the rules. Protect yourselves at all times. And safe break, you break clean. Touch gloves.
Well, he's got big dreams of one day fighting on the pitch of Mansfield Town Football Club, Field Mill. And the first step towards that dream begins now. Nico Lavazz, 2-time ABA champion, a 90-bout amateur. In action, the yellow trunks, the man opposite him in the silvery white trunks, Jose Hernandez. Already just comes in, lands a left hook.
It's a sharp start already, looks very sharp. That amateur experience is really showing.
Always over eagerness, very rarely do you see a debutant without a few jitters and nerves in the ring, but we will no doubt be out the way after these first 3 minutes as Hernandez just swings and misses with that left hook. He landed it twice in the first 30 seconds and he just switches, and he does switch. He inches in, weight on that back foot. Can be quite slippery, but he's come to fight here.
He's having a go, definitely. But a 6-round debut at, only 22. Joe's there. Their expectation of his ability, and he's really showing it off tonight.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's worth noting. It was scheduled for 6 rounds, but I think it was made as a 4 yesterday. So that was a correction I should have actually warned you guys at home of. Although it is thankfully up on our graphics. So it's a 4-rounder here.
My mistake.
No, it wasn't your mistake. It was originally scheduled for 6, and I found out about an hour ago. Forgot to mention it. So here we are. Lavazz just putting their hands together, well working the left hook off the 1-2.
Real nice body work. You can hear Grant Smith in the corner, the great trainer. Got a great stable, got Dalton Smith, Sonny Edwards, now Florian Marcoux in the gym, so it's a great buzz there and a lot of talent in that gym.
Of course, Florian Marcoux working with your strength and conditioning trainer, the team at Boxing Science. Daniel Wilson said he's an absolute beast in the gym, Marcoux.
He definitely looks it, and he's one of them guys that gives everything into every rep, not just every day. You know, every rep he'll give maximum intent.
Yeah, he's a live life at 100 miles an hour guy, and well, good win over Max and Pro down on the AJ Usyk undercard back in September. I wonder whether they'll be able to take him to the next level. Lavazz just trying to hold distance with that jab, puts the right hand behind it. Starting to pepper and tenderize Jose Hernandez with 30 seconds to go in round one. Just got caught over the top edge, the left hand a little low. Exactly the kind of debut opponent that you want, though. Someone physical, strong, knows their way around, durable, that can just show you what the game is all about.
Definitely, it's great experience. He's looking $1 million so far. I'm really liking the yellow, you know, on a non-boxing note. He's really rocking that yellow, and I like it.
Yeah, it's must of that. And shades of Lerone Richards, your stablemate too, had a career-defining performance a few months ago. The IBO super middleweight champion in the mix in the 168-pound division. And well, for Lavazz, if he's got ambitions of making it all the way at 118 pounds, the current crop at the top of the division are just a murderer's row. Maybe to make out the figure of Sonny Edwards blurred out in the background supporting his stablemate.
You've got this all day long, watch. Touch him there. Come from underneath. Yeah, give a shot with it. Quarters, 10 seconds. Second test. Round 2.
He's brought a decent little pocket of fans, Lavazz, just up in the rafters, and the affiliation with Mansfield Town. This isn't a club that he's loosely affiliated with either. He's been going every weekend since he was a boy. It is an integral part of his life, and seeing the likes of Josh Warrington, of course Leigh Wood a bit later on, you have that affiliation with a football club, just how powerful it can be. And of course Josh Warrington looking to regain the IBF World Featherweight title in a couple of weeks' time in Leeds. Would you believe it, against Kiko Martinez? Who would have thought he would have been champion in 2022? But anything can happen, and does often happen in boxing. And Jordan, I know division you'll be looking to get right in the mix in the next 12 months as well.
Definitely. I mean, Kiko Martinez is someone that we was looking at for a European title, you know, 2 years ago. And it's funny how it all works out, but yeah, he's world champion again. Back like he never left.
Ricky Lavazz is putting on a show here, stinging left underneath the elbow. Just saw the reaction as Hernandez just pulled the right arm down by his side. It's a little messy in there, but Lavazz is not afraid of getting stuck in and trading. Just drops off the line again, chops the left to the body, chops the right hand down.
He's really having an effect to the body here. He's really made advantage of that dual nationality. I know he represented Team Italy and Team GB as an amateur, so he's very sharp. Nice little shift to the feet to open up the angle. He's really teeing off.
Dad, Julian and Maria will be watching. He tries to step in behind that jab again. Switches that time, just pokes the jab from southpaw.
There's a lot to like about Nico. I know Leigh has been singing his praises. Everybody that knows him has been singing his praises, so I'm looking forward to seeing how his career progresses.
He's spoken very well all fight week too, but the press conferences, the interviews that we've done with him shows no signs of his age or his inexperience in front of the media and the press. And well, usually you make your debut in relative obscurity, you bring a few friends along, but he's doing it really in front of the world's press and in front of a good 1,000 or so in this arena already. He just left hook off the right hand, chops the right hand down again, and Hernandez just on slightly unsteady legs. Lavazz just starts to tee off, looking for the uppercut through the middle.
He's going through the gears here, and he's looking good doing it. That body works lovely.
Hernandez just holding, trying to buy himself a little bit of time. Lavazz just brings him onto that uppercut again.
I think Hernandez was happy to hear that 10-second clapper. Starting to look a little bit worse away here.
Good second round for Lavazz. Goes back to his corner with Grant Smith, Ian Jumbo Johnson in the corner with him as well. Fernandez just took a deep gulp of air then. Big reaction from that left hand under the elbow. You see the grimace there from Fernandez as well. Grant Smith told him he could tick that off the 1-2, and he did so. He's been trying to find a little space for that short right hand when Fernandez does shut his space down. There it is again. Lots to like about this debut so far against an opponent who's really come to fight and tried to make him feel uncomfortable, but he hasn't looked it so far, Lavazz.
Definitely. These Nicaraguans, they're notoriously tough. This guy's only been stopped 7 times in 38 losses, so he's very tough. And to stop him would be a statement tonight.
Lavazz fizzing shots into the body, really trying to put the hands together now. Fernandez trying to walk through the fire, shut the space down, but he's walking onto clean, straight shots here. And long before another one of those left hooks to the body lands, and they find the right spot for it.
It's a great performance. He's very busy.
I see your coach Dave Colwell through the other side of the ring, across the bottom rope, looking at me as if to say, how's he got the gig over me? Have to get used to it, eh?
That's it. I'll have to give him a percentage.
Nice uppercut there for Lavazz, as Fernandez just winged in with the left hook, a little bit wide that time. When he beat Shiloh de Freitas, that was at the Haringey Box Cup 2017. Opie Price was there that year too. Won the English Youth Champs the year before, beat Charles Frankham in the final. Lovely left hook. Fernandez just lifted up a little tall there. Now Lavazz just trying to put the hands together, trying to find the target. Good win over Mark Dickinson, another brilliant Berkeley amateur, now a 2-0 pro under Ben Davison. He'll be in the corner of Leigh Wood in the main event tonight. The original plan was to hold on and see if he could qualify for the Paris Olympic Games, but with boxing's place at the Games entirely in jeopardy, he's made a smart move to turn pro here on a big platform, and he's boxing well so far. 50 seconds on the clock in the third.
I think some people can make the mistake of staying amateur too long. I think this is the perfect time, 22 years old, to turn pro. He's looking very good. He's really had Fernandez going here, and I'd like to see him give himself a little bit more room, like Grant Smith was saying in the corner. Take his time a little bit more and plant his feet, land the finishing shot.
Fernandez is determined to try and make this difficult for him, just closing that space down, smothering, just lands a little left hook there. Lavazz tried to catch him with a 2-phase attack, lean back and with the right hand that time.
You can really hear that Mansfield crowd. It's only down the road from Nottingham. They're out in numbers today.
They are, and maybe in years to come we will fight in front of the ground full of them. Just landed a nice laid-back right hand and a couple on the bell to finish a very solid 3 rounds so far. And opening the show in just over 20 minutes time will be Derby's Sandy Ryan. In her first 10-rounder, just going through her repertoire on the pads with coach Clifton Mitchell. We wouldn't be putting her in with a challenge like this if he didn't believe she was absolutely ready, but it is, we remind you, just her 4th contest as a novice pro. Farias, a 2-weight world champion. She's been the distance 16 times and only really lost to some of the very best in the world. That is a fascinating encounter to open proceedings on Dazn. A big night of boxing here in Nottingham. Nico Lavazz about to box the final round here on Before the Bell. May I say, Jordan, it's a pleasure to have your company here, mate, and I hope you enjoy the action a little bit later on.
It's been awesome so far, and I think it's only going to get better. We're in for a very, very good night.
We certainly are. We thank you for your company wherever you've been joining us around the country and indeed around the world, as Lavazz just gets on that solid jab, just trying to feint his man into place, and as the fight being just beaten out of Hernandez a little bit here. He's just on the back foot, switches, tries to step in, but just walks onto a right hand and another. Can't miss with that, Lavazz. That was a mistake from Hernandez to switch there, and he's on the end of it here.
Picking the shots really nice here. He's throwing a lot of volume, but they're accurate, and he's picking them out nice. He's working the body and the head.
Hernandez just leapt in, landed it, a cuffing left hand. Just caught Lavaz's attention. Just a reminder that he needs to stay switched on, even off the break.
Sometimes when you turn professional from an amateur, it's a shock to how tough these guys really are. And sometimes that can take you off guard, because usually if you've landed shots that he's landed in this fight, in the amateurs, it would be stuck, but the pros is a different game.
Yeah, and of course, everything's so new that the gloves too are different, getting hit with these kind of gloves. Getting used to the medicals and the whole procedure on fight night. It is different, but he's handled this week very, very well, and he's handled this contest and this opponent very well too. Minute 30 to go in the fourth and final round here. Lavazz just feinting with the feet, just pushing his man back, manoeuvring him into position. Is he looking to just let his hands go? And another big flurry. Hernandez maybe just sensed he was being boxed in, rushed him, held, and he's just using all the tactics of experience to try and buy himself some space and time. But I think, unfortunately, it's gone against him here, and he has been holding and spoiling, and he's been penalised as a result. Back to centering. I think it's pretty immaterial at this stage, because he does need a stoppage, as Lavazz holding centering, pushing his man back behind the jab. And again, Hernandez, all he can do really is just rush him, try and get close. Right hand inside the left hook.
Very sharp, lovely lead hand. He really goes through the gears once he lands a good shot, and it's nice to see. I think he's a very, very promising prospect.
Managed the distance a lot better in these last 3 minutes as well. Punching long, taking his feet back with him, giving himself space to punch and walk. Hernandez onto counters, and the Nicaraguan is giving all he can, but he's been outgunned here. Just dips and wings the left hand in. Again, just trying to pin the arms, give himself some time.
Nico looks like he's really enjoyed himself tonight. And like I said earlier, you only get one debut. I think it's so important to enjoy yourself. He's really made the most of it, and I'm sure his fans will go away happy. And it's a really good 4 rounds in the bank.
Oh, left hook lands. Within 10 seconds of the final bell, drops Hernandez. He rises straight up, and he will be saved by the bell, because he's okay to continue. But that was a great shot to punctuate a really good performance.
What a peak
for Nico Lavazz. Reminded me of your stablemate Hody Price, who in the last 5 or 6 fights has landed a couple of game-changing shots right on the bell of rounds that have dropped his opponents, and well, that was a really nice way for him to end that, and Grant Smith all smiles, just what he would have wanted from his man.
Icing on the cake, I think. I know for him, he'll be annoyed that he landed it on the bell in the last 10 seconds and there wasn't another round to finish him off, because, you know, chances are he would have finished him off. But icing on the cake for a great points win and a solid performance on his debut.
Yeah, I wonder whether he was going to ask, can we actually make it 6 rounds again? But he's done well there, Lavazz. Comfortably ahead on all the cards, and just secured it with that knockdown right at the death there. Did catch a few shots, caught the left hook a few times early in the first round and throughout. And it was wild, crude but effective stuff occasionally from Hernandez. He did all he could to spoil, make things awkward, but ultimately the levels, the skills, the adjustments and the sharp shooting of Lavazz was the difference between them.
Fantastic young prospect. Really excited to see how he progresses, how they're moving. I think he could be a star.
Very, very tough division, 118 pounds. Naoya Inoue at the very top of the tree at the moment, the #1 with the Ring magazine. Benito Donaire somehow still a brutal force in the division. I think he's 38 or 39 years of age. With Barley, of course, in there as well. Casimiro is a murderer's row at the top, but by the time he gets there, it could be all change, and it is a long, long way to the top, as you well know, Jordan. So plenty of time, no rush for young Nico Lavazz. The first box ticked as a professional here in Nottingham. And it sets us up for a really big night here. We go live just over 15 minutes time with Sandy Ryan in her first 10 round. We just saw her warming up on the pads with Clifton Mitchell, Gary Cully in a potentially career-defining fight at this stage. Chance to bolster his rankings with the WBA against former world champion Miguel Vasquez. Terry Harper then returns at lightweight after losing her world titles in the division below. She's up against Yamila Abdellaneda a little bit later on, and then Kevin Ojarko in a really good fight before the main event. Let's head over now to our MC, David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds here in Nottingham, we go to referee Christine's scorecard. It reads 40-34 for your winner. He's now undefeated as a professional, Nico Lightning Lavazz.
So debut victory for young Nico Lavazz from Mansfield. The fans are in full voice, and they will be later on tonight. Jordan, thanks very much for your company here, really appreciated it. It's been great to call fights with you. No doubt we'll do more over the years.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And well, as we wrap up things on before the bell here, we will be going live in just over 10 minutes time on Dazn. Sandy Ryan against Erica Farias, Gary Cully and Miguel Vasquez. Terry Harper returns at lightweight against Yamila Abdellaneda. Kevin Ojarko against Guadalajara's Juan Carlos Rubio. That is going to be a cracker. And then, need I tell you how explosive the main event is going to be, and what an atmosphere we'll have in this arena. Leigh defending the WBA World Featherweight title against Ireland's Michael Conlan. Tune in, 10 minutes time. We'll see you on Dazn.
Let's get ready to rumble! The future has arrived! Ortiz Jr. Martinez! Garcia!
He's got speed, power, the whole package.
Triple J!